Xin chào. What's up, everybody? Hello. Thumbnail. So today we're back at New and Walking Street. It's one of my favorite places. Also, I like to shoot a video here before I pick Win-Win up from work, which she's up working right now. A nice, beautiful husky. Today we're going to tackle a lot of things. We're going to tackle the most commented questions. What do I watch on YouTube? People always like to ask me if I watch this YouTuber guy here or this YouTuber guy there. And to be honest with you, I don't watch almost any other travel vlogging YouTubers at all. The only two I've ever watched is Harold Balder and Bald and Bankrupt. And as of late, I don't watch too much of them anymore. You know, I originally really liked Bald and Bankrupt because he was going to, you know, Russia. He was doing shit no one else really went to. And now that's not so much the case with them. You know, the Mexico City thing, I've been there, totally done that. That stuff's a bit boring for me. Harold's kind of the same, you know, he's been consistent on what he does. I'll occasionally check out a Harold video. But those are the two. And a lot of people ask me if my name is a riff off of Bald and Bankrupt. So when I originated the channel around a year and 9 months ago, about 2 years ago, I weighed about 260 pounds. I'm down to about 205 now. And when I got here, I was about 193 pounds. I put on some weight. In the past week, I've stopped drinking and stopped eating bad food. Pretty much since I got back from Boomtown, I've already dropped like 7 pounds. My face got skinnier, as you can see. And that's from, you know, when you get fat face and when you see someone with a fat face that's relatively skinny, it's usually from alcohol or beer. So as soon as you cut that out, relatively quickly the bloat will go away in your body. So I have on maximum now maybe, you know, 2 drinks a day. I just had a beer here, and then tonight maybe I'll have a, what's the girl drink? I've been having one girl drink a night, the Strongbow, the red berry Strongbow. And I won't have that till like 11 p.m. and it'll take me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to drink it. You know, when I learned this from Mark, like, really thank you, Mark. Like, he's an older guy I met in Boomtown, and he kind of explained to me, he's like, you know, you only need to have 1 or 2 drinks a day. And if you stop consuming as much as you were, you actually get like a buzz and feel good off those 1 or 2 drinks instead of needing to have it every day. Was I an alcoholic? Probably, still am. So, you know, he really gave me food for thought. And I care about my health. I want to live a long time. So I was like, you know, I'll give it a try. And honestly, I feel better. My body feels better. I feel happier. So yeah, it was a really good decision. I'm very thankful I met him. He doesn't even know that this has happened from our meeting. He's here now. I might do a video with him tomorrow. I don't know how long he's going to be here. They wanted to meet up today, but they got up too early and did a bunch of shit. And you know, I don't wake up that early. I've got a whole routine I do, and I'm not done with my routine from working out and all that stuff till, oh, there's a nice ninja, till around, you know, 2, 3. I wake up, I digest news. I'll go for a run, and then I'll go to the gym, and then if I have time, I'll go swimming. I haven't been as good about the swimming because, like, the way they do the pools is kind of upsetting here. They clean the pool at 12 to 2 every day, which fucks with my schedule. And they clean it every day, and half the time they don't clean it, so like I get a little pissed off going down to the pool when it's closed and the dude's just sitting there smoking cigarettes. But anyways, so we're talking about like YouTubers I watch and where I came up with my name, so let's go back to that. Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. I was watching a lot of Bald and Bankrupt, and I was watching a lot of Harold, and I really liked the Harold give back thing, which is the whole reason I started my channel. We would have already been raising money for charity, and I would have already been giving away Patreon if I didn't lose my company back in America unexpectedly, you know, when COVID first hit in January, essentially. It was already a little bit shaky, but COVID, January going into February, really nailed in the coffin to my IT business back home. So I no longer had that $2,600 a month I was making from 2 large contracts. So as that happened, I started to have to use the Patreon money. I didn't have any YouTube payouts, and you know, the Patreon money wasn't much. It was like $100, but I was in a cheap apartment then, you know, a $600 apartment, and that $100 went a long way to pay for food, pay for bills. So I needed it, and I still do need it. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna raise money and we're gonna give it away. Once a month we're gonna do a GoFundMe, however long it takes to get to the GoFundMe's amount. I'm pretty sure we're going to do an orphanage this first time. So that's always been the conceptual idea of the channel, is to find, and then eventually we'll take the Patreon money and we'll find like a hard-working GOA over here, like with a stand over here. Maybe not like a hoon seller, but a hard-working lady that maybe business hasn't been as good, and you know, we'll give her a couple $100s, which to them, that might be what they make in a total month. So that's a lot of money out here. But anyways, everybody thinks I copied the name Bald and Bankrupt. I was fat at the time, and I was extremely broke. I still am broke, so, and it's just easy to tell somebody that name. Just as clever as Bald and Bankrupt is, and come on now, like, are you guys gonna go rag on Bald and Bankrupt because he's not poor anymore? Was he ever poor? Does bankrupt mean poor? He probably went into business bankruptcy, so himself personally, he was probably never bankrupt, so most likely he was never technically poor. My name rang true for exactly who I was. I was fat and I was broke, and I still am a little fat and I still am broke. I'll most likely always be a little chunky. You know, the lowest weight I've ever been down to is 185, and I have gynecomastia, so I have female breasts. I grew female breasts when I hit puberty. I would have to get a surgery to get them removed, and for me, I don't want to do that. They're a part of who I am. You know, I grew up with them. I had a mildly difficult childhood. I was usually the bigger kid, so if you spracked off and said I had tits and shit, you usually got hit in the face. I got suspended a lot in school for fighting. I'm no tough guy. Most people could kick my ass now. I did take boxing for a considerable amount of years in my late teens, early 20s, so I do know how to handle my fists. I'm gonna start boxing again here soon. I've said this before, but yes, now that COVID second flare is flaring down, I feel comfortable going to a boxing gym and training 3 or 4 times a week. Get my cardio up. I've been getting my muscles up by lifting 5 days a week, which I've been pretty consistent at. So yeah, that's where the name came from. I wanted something very easy that I could tell someone just passing by, yeah, it's fat and broke. And most people don't have a problem with that. It's very easy for them to find it. It's easy to tell someone. So that's where the inceptualization came from for the name. Now let's talk about YouTubers I watch. It's totally different than what you would expect. I don't watch any YouTuber that is like 50 plus with a young 20-year-old chick. Absolutely no. That's first thing. I wouldn't even give that a time of day for 10 seconds. I would never watch a pickup artist channel. None of that stuff. It's all garbage to me. If you watch that, I'm fine with that. I'm not a judgmental person. Whatever you want to watch is up to you, what you want to watch. I tend to watch like video game stuff, like Metal Jesus Rocks. I really like Metal Jesus Rocks. I used to have, my plan when I was in my 16 to 17-year-old age was to open a video game store. But as the internet came out, I quickly saw that, you know, physical format wasn't going to be the way to go, which there's still a lot of physical format collectors, but I just saw that there wasn't going to be a lot of money in it. But at that time, you know, I worked at my parents' pawn shop, and I had amassed a collection of probably $100,000 worth of video game stuff from all genres. You know, I had every rare Sega CD game, I had every rare Super NES game, every rare NES game, every rare Nintendo 64 game. I mean, I know games, prices, I can grade a game. I was super into video games. I was a role-playing kid. You know, I grew up playing Final Fantasy 2 and 3, which would be 3 is 5, I do, if I recall, in Japan. You know, Chrono Trigger, all these things really, I didn't learn much in school, so I learned to read from playing role-playing games. So, Lunar, I loved Lunar on Sega CD. You know, I was a big Sega CD guy. I got a Sega CD for Christmas one year, the Sewer Shark bundle. It was awesome. I was part of that Sega, you know, foundation. I quickly jumped from Nintendo to Sega, and I even adopted the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast, even though their problem with the Dreamcast was just software. You know, I loved Sega systems. And then I had a PlayStation. We actually had a PlayStation. You know, PlayStation came out about a year ahead of time in Japan than it did in America. Fortunately, my parents had a PlayStation unlocked original Japanese unit come through, and I was able to have a PlayStation roughly 6 months before everyone else. I loved it. I gamed my heart out on it. I followed all the way to PS2, and then once PS3 came around, I stopped console gaming and completely shifted to PC Master Race. and I've always been a PC gamer. And now at this point, any console game that's even an exclusive that comes out on either the PS5 or the new Xbox is going to eventually make its way to PC, and I'm in no particular hurry. So if it takes a year or 2 years later, like I've been playing Horizon, I think it was a PlayStation exclusive on the PC. Really an overhyped game. It's a poor man's Witcher. It's a complete knockoff on Witcher, but nonetheless, it's still fun to kill some time. So yeah, I watch Metal Jesus Rocks. I really like Kid Shuriken in Japan. He goes to like vintage game selling spots like Potato Head and what's the other one called? I forgot all the names of the places. I've been to them all when I've been to Tokyo, but Hard Offs. He goes to all the like vintage game places, buys games, and he has good dialogue on it. I don't care for all the music in all the videos, but it's what he likes, so I'm not gonna knock it. If that's what he likes to do, then that's what he likes to do. I've also watched Tikio Sam for years. I mean, Tikio Sam I've always watched on and off for... I've never been a YouTube watcher until about 2 years ago when I found Harold and Bald and Bankrupt. But I always have watched Tikio Sam for about 5 years. I always found him interesting. It was always something I wanted to do. And I have deep regrets about not leaving America much sooner and just pulling the trigger, which is something I recommend that you do. If you're tired of America and you want to leave, go ahead and leave. There's nothing in America that you need but debt and a rat race, and it's not getting any better. And I mean, just look at what's going on there right now. Not that I'm shitting on America. I love America, you know. But for me, it's just not for me anymore. I don't foresee myself living in America probably ever again. I chose Vietnam as a home base because it's cheap to get everywhere, pretty much everywhere on this side of the globe, you know. And the flights are much less. I don't like flying. I don't like taking a 20-hour flight to go anywhere. So I can get everywhere in a low amount of time, which is really great. Other channels I watch. So you're not going to believe this, but I watch a lot of comedy. Bad Friends is one of my favorite podcasts. I watch Bad Friends the day it hits. I usually watch Two Bears, One Cave, Bert Crisper, the dog fucker, and Tom Segura. I usually watch Your Mom's House. I love Christina P. and Tom Segura. I'll watch a Joe Rogan if I like the person he's interviewing. I also watch Bobby Lee, Tiger Belly. Bobby Lee's freaking hilarious. So yeah, I watch a lot of those like good comedy podcasts. They keep me entertained. They're fun to watch. It's good entertainment. What other people do I watch on YouTube? I'm trying to think. I've named like the vloggers I've watched. I've named the video game guys I like. I named the comedy ones. And that's it. You know, I've never really watched... People ask me all the time if I've seen the bike guy or Fuck Map, Poop Mop, or whatever the fuck his name is. And I'm not throwing shade. I just don't watch any of you guys. Like, it's not in my wheelhouse. I don't want to watch any other vlogger here because I don't want to, you know, inadvertently copy their shit. And frankly, I don't care what they're doing. More power to them. If you guys like all those guys, awesome. I appreciate it. And I'm sure they appreciate you liking them. But it's just not what I watch. And then I consume a lot of TV too, you know. The Boys, the new season of The Boys is on, which is great. I love The Boys. It's a great Amazon show. I've been watching Lovecraft Country on HBO, which is great. I've been watching the Wolf Show on HBO as well. Great show. So, you know, that's kind of what I consume. A lot of people would think that a lot of vloggers like watch a lot of other vloggers. And I think it's for the most case, like what I just said, we don't. You know, we stick in our wheelhouse and we watch what we like for entertainment on there. And as far as when I moved here, I didn't research anything. You know, I'd already been here. I don't want to research. I don't want to know the right way to do something when I move somewhere. I want to figure it out on my own and make mistakes, because when you make mistakes, you learn. When you follow a guide, you don't really learn, and you're always asking and wondering, and then you want to watch a guide for everything that you do. Sure, maybe I would watch some blips on a car I'm going to buy or something, or a motorbike I'm going to buy. But, you know, as far as moving and traveling, so let's shift. So we've covered that first half. Let's shift now into So like you're in America and you just want to leave, which a lot of my subscribers want to do right now. You don't have to come to Vietnam, guys. You can. A lot of people aren't going to like it. If you're like a fancy person and you're used to cleanliness and like rules and people following traffic laws and people being polite for the most part, Vietnam might not be for you, because most people don't follow too many rules here. Most people aren't like what we would consider polite, especially on traffic. It's not very clean for the most part. There's a lot of trash everywhere. You'll definitely see rats every day, large rats. These things don't bother me. That kind of stuff's never bothered me. So I understand that we're here for like a cheap effect, you know? Like I came here to home base to get a fairly cheap apartment. Now I would still be in my cheaper apartment, but you know, I got a girlfriend. We needed a bigger spot. She wanted a different apartment. And we happened to come across, you know, this nice Vinhomes place. And I'm currently in negotiations for a permanent reduction on rent, which I think is gonna go well, because they understand that, you know, like comps are down 20-30% in that building I'm in. So I showed him all the comps. We had a good conversation. He's gonna go back to the people that actually own it. And I think that, you know, we'll be able to stay there until we're good with going somewhere else. And eventually, yeah, we're gonna move. We're gonna find a place that's nice and that can house dogs. Winnie has a dog. I have a dog back home, and I think after COVID, my sister's gonna come here. I wouldn't mind her bringing my dog, because my dog and Winnie's dog would get along very well. They're both crazy. They're both high energy and they're both young. So they would work really well. And Vietnam welcomes dogs from other countries. So that's another thing. If you have an animal in America and you want to bring it here, they're very compassionate towards getting your animal here. So you can make that happen. But you don't have to move here. You can find any real place in the world to move, and I recommend it. And it's never too late. If you're 40 and you know you're fairly got your things under a line and you can get rid of your shit relatively in a quicker time frame, and not worry about having all these possessions that you really don't use anyways, and get rid of them and move somewhere else, then there you go. Why not do it? The best thing I've ever done is leave and permanently move out of America. I used to do long, you know, I've traveled all over the world essentially, and I used to do long vacations, like anywhere from a week to a month. And now, after COVID's over, I can go and do these vacations at a fraction of the price, because the $2,000 air flight is right out of the way. Like I can get to Korea for a round trip for like 300 bucks. Same with Japan, like 300 bucks. When I would do round trip to Hong Kong, it was like $80. So I mean, and then you can stay cheap. Like when I go to these places, if I'm only there for a month or two, I live extremely cheap. I don't get a nice hotel because I don't need a nice hotel. I get like a $30 a night hotel if it's in like one of those expensive countries, like, you know, Korea, Japan, or Hong Kong. Another option is Taiwan. You know, I have quite a few subscribers that really love Taiwan. So these are all areas to look at. You know, I'm not saying that Vietnam is the God's land or where you need to come. I'm saying that if you're tired of your mundane life and you're tired of the rat race, you're tired of just paying bills and only squirreling away a little bit, this is a place where you can come and you can live for literally a 20th of what you were living on there and have just as much and be just as happy. I mean, if you are frou-frou and fancy, you can get like a place like mine, and then you can come to like an area like this that's very clean and nice and restaurants everywhere. You can get that slice of, you know, American life in Vietnam if you want to pivot yourself there. It's all what you make of it. Really, for this video, I just want to inspire other people to be like, hey, maybe I can make a change. Maybe I can move and be happy somewhere else. Maybe I don't have to play this American rat race thing. Now, you have to consider your visas and all this stuff for where you're gonna go. If you need money, you're most likely gonna wanna have your TEFL certificate so you can teach. And you know, a lot of people say they don't wanna teach, but I know a lot of people that teach, you know, in Japan and Korea and here that didn't mind it. You know, they only worked 20-30 hours a week and it was more than enough to pay the bills and stuff. So it's all up to you at the end of the day. But just know I'm at a level like 9.5 out of happiness that I've ever been in my whole life. And I can say that a year and 4 months later of being here. So nothing's changed. It's just as good as it was on day one. And now, you know, I'm doing this 100% sober. So I'm just as happy. Life is what you make of it. It's your choices, and you don't want to have regret when you're like 50 or 60, you know? And there is no key number. You don't need this huge amount of money and this $300,000, $200,000 and work your whole life and your back's all fucked up and your body's all messed up from working a hard job. You can make this decision now, and you can get out here and you can live a fulfilling life, you know? So I hope you found this useful. I hope I answered some questions. Let me think of other questions. Oh, a lot of people like to say I'm a fat sexpat. So I definitely came here with no reservations to be any kind of sexpat or anything like that. And we've already seen I've admitted I'm fat. So I mean, I don't know. Well, you can call me fat all you want. It's clearly evident. You can just look at the video. I'm a large guy. I am fat. So you're not hurting my feelings. And you can troll on. Also, I do not have a child back in America. I've never been married, and I don't have any felonies. That's the big troll thing from the other guy's camp, to where they're coming over and trying to throw shade on all my videos. And they strategically do it when I'm sleeping. So they've figured out my schedule so they can throw the comment on, and it can lament, and it can simmer a little bit. And I refuse to hold every comment for a review. I never will. So you guys can keep coming at me. Whoever watches my channel is smart enough should already know that I would never not pay child support if I had a child, etc., etc., etc. I don't consider myself the greatest guy of all time, but I have morals and ethics, and I consider myself a pretty stand-up guy. If I did have these things, I would take care of it. But that's just, you know, haters gonna hate. They're gonna come after you. Sadly, it all comes from that one guy that I worked with on Twitch and a little bit on YouTube, and you know, it's sad that he encourages that sort of behavior and never really put I don't think it's him personally doing it. I think it's people out of his camp, and I think he knows about it, and he probably could have done something about it early on, but he kind of chose to, you know, bat the other eye at it and then reverse throw shade and act like the haters were coming at him from me, which is entirely crazy. Another thing we can talk about real quick, I'll never be working with another YouTuber. You know, the only YouTuber I would probably ever do YouTube with is Tikio Sam when I'm in Japan, and that's up to him. And if it's natural, I would probably shoot videos with him. I would shoot some videos with Eric Surf 6 as well in Japan. As far as Vietnam vloggers, I don't know of any, so I would probably have to sit down with them and hang out and get to know them a little bit before I would say, yeah, let's shoot some videos. Frank, I would shoot videos with Frank. Hopefully Frank will really want to travel once COVID's over, because we're supposed to do India together. He would be a great partner to go and do India with. I trust him. He's a good guy. He's got my back. I got his back. So yeah, you're never going to see me really work with other YouTubers that much. And yeah, sure, it could be way beneficiary for the channel. I had a chance to work with a guy in the Philippines. I'm not going to say any names, but I didn't like a lot of things about him that came out, and he didn't want to be forthcoming with the information. So if he couldn't have a real conversation, I couldn't see us going forward and making videos together. So, and like, he cares anyways, you know, he's a pretty large YouTuber himself now, so he could give two shits less if I wanted to work with him or not. So yeah, that's what I've got to say today. Like I said, we're gonna get the GoFundMe going for the orphanage. I do believe we're gonna do an orphanage first. I've got to really research the food drive place for the homeless and make sure that that money actually goes to the food drive, or if I can actually go and buy the food. I don't know how that's gonna work. I think the orphanage is the way to go, because I can actually buy the products for the orphanage, show you the receipts, go in and give the stuff. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you all for the people that actually hit the like button. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting notifications all. If you do hit the notifications all, you're gonna know when I post something on the community tab. You're gonna know when I go live stream right away, and you're gonna know when there's a premiere, and then you're gonna know when a video comes out right away. There will be lots more live streams coming, as we're not gonna get Twitch back. Twitch never even replied to me. I'm sending them another email tonight, but I don't think they're gonna let me back on. I'm pretty good at writing stuff like that, so I'm gonna write them a good page, and maybe they'll actually come to their senses. We'll actually see. I highly doubt it. So the live stream is gonna happen on the YouTube. I have created another YouTube channel for the live streaming. It's called Fat and Broke IRL Streaming. I think you can find that channel and subscribe to it. I'll start to put that in the comment section. So once we get that up to 1,000 subs, then I can just start live streaming on that. And we don't have to worry about any kind of live streaming incidents that come to the actual channel that I've worked very hard to do. So as ever, thank you guys. Stay positive. This Corona thing is going to be over soon. Everybody will be able to travel. As the information changes, I'll get you the information. As of now, as of today, the only country you can get here as a tourist is Korea that I know of. Everywhere else it's extremely difficult. You can get into Thailand, but it's insane. You have to have the elite visa, you have to prove you have 100 grand, you have to buy that insurance, and you have to pay for a quarantine that's around $2,000. So the price is insane for 99.999% of the people. So Korea is your only option, and I don't know when Vietnam's gonna open to let tourism in. I think it's gonna be a long while. I'm gonna guess the earliest would be spring. You never know though with this government. They could say, you know, after the first year or around Tet, because Tet's so much money, oh, we'll let you in, we'll do rapid testing, etc., etc. We just got to keep our eyes on it. All right, guys, as I've already said, thank you. Have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good week, good month, good year, whatever it is. And I hope this video finds you well. All right, guys, peace.